The quiet room that knows her name. The city never quite slept, but in here it pretended. The bindery hummed with silence, thick, heavy, the kind that soaked into paper and cloth and bone. Outside, magical district pulsed with neon sigils and shouting vendors, wards flickering in and out with the rhythm of traffic. In here, the only light that came from the lamps she wired with dim amber bulbs, turned low enough that shadows curled in the corners like cats. She liked it that way. Half-light softened everything. It hid frayed edges and old scars, made broken things look halfway whole. The workbench beneath her palms was scarred from decades of blades and glue pots. Tonight it held a single book, if book was still the right word. The grimoire lay open with a wound. Spine exploded, signatures in violent disarray. Pages blackened at the edges, as if someone had tried to burn it, and the fire had thought better of it halfway through. It smelled like char and iron and something older, sharp enough that it stung the back of her throat. "Easy," she murmured, not to herself, but to it. She flexed her fingers, rolling her shoulders back until the tendons, eased in the dull ache at the base of her neck, loosened. Thread, needle, bone folder, linen tape, tools laid out in perfect order. That was how she liked them. Nothing out of place. Everything exactly where she left it. The world narrowed to cut lines in grain direction. Her magic stirred in her fingertips before she even touched the first page. It always started with heat. Not the sweaty, uncomfortable kind, but a slow warmth that bloomed in the pads of her fingers and sank into her knuckles. A whisper of tingling that followed the line of her veins. She stopped pretending long ago that it was anything else, that it was just good hands, or a feel for the work, like the old man who trained her used to say. Good hands didn't make torn vellum sigh when you laid it flat. Good hands didn't make ink lift and settle like it was breathing. She bent over the grimoire, letting her hair fall forward as a curtain, a habit from years of hiding what she did with her hands. The lamplight brushed the fine dust floating in the air, lighting it up like gold motes. Her fingertips hovered over the first broken signature. The hum shivered through her teeth, faint, just a vibration at first, like standing near a power line. The book's magic was wild, spiked, resistant. No wonder no one else could touch it without bleeding. She could feel the edges of it even before contact, like a static field waiting to bite. "Hey," she whispered, absurdly. "I'm not your enemy." It was ridiculous to talk to it. It was more ridiculous that it worked. The hum leveled out just a fraction. The air against her skin cooled, the sharp prickling edge drawing back. Not trust, but not outright refusal. "That's better," she said, mostly to keep herself anchored. She sat her needle, waxed thread tight against her glove palm, and finally let her fingers drop. Heat licked up her hand like dipped ink. For a heartbeat, she saw nothing but white, paper fibers swelling, ink lines unraveling and re-knitting under the surface, characters not meant for human eyes twisting and smoothing as her power slid between them. The thread in her other hand tugged, reality dropping back into place with the familiar tension of linen pulling through folded paper. Stitch, pull, anchor. With each pass of the needle, her magic heard the tear and answered. It worked along the faults like water seeking cracks, softening rigid edges, coaxing fibers into alignment. Her hands moved in practiced patterns, the muscle memory of years guiding her. The power just filled the gaps.